He insulted all of his opponents. He insulted all of the moderators. He insulted, I guess, about 80% of the American people and the rest of the world. So I want to take it seriously. I want to talk about what I think we can do and how important it is. But you've got to be prepared for, like, wacky stuff that comes at you.
Well, I think it's going to be very important. I don't know if it's make or break, but I've done well in the debates. I had 17 people in the debates, and, you know, I'm the one that survived, and I've enjoyed the debating process.
Going to be great, right? New details on how Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are getting ready for their first debate, which happens on September the 26th at Hofstra. So Clinton's team is reportedly researching Donald Trump's deepest insecurities, according to a New York Times report, in an attempt to exploit them to try to get him to erupt, essentially, on the debate stage. They're going as far as speaking to the ghostwriter of his book, The Art of the Deal, while Trump reportedly plans to wing it, according to some of the reports. But could all of these leaks just be both sides kind of playing games with each other? Ed Rollins was the campaign manager for President Reagan's 1984 campaign, and he is chief strategist for the Great America PAC, which supports Donald Trump. And Joe Trippi was Howard Dean's campaign manager and is a Fox News contributor. Welcome, gentlemen. Great to have both of you with us. You've both been in these kind of rooms where there is debate prep going on. So Hillary Clinton's folks, Ed, are using a psychologist to try to see how he responds to women and how he might go after her. What do you make of all this?
I don't know how true that story is, but at the end of the day, she's a very substantive person. She basically will want to do a traditional debate prep. She already has a great deal of knowledge. Mr. Trump has to be very careful. You can't cross the line when you're debating a woman. He's a much bigger physical man. She had a debate in the Senate campaign, and the opponent crossed the line and basically damaged himself. So my sense is it's a different environment. He's going to be treated more casually in his debate preparation because he doesn't want to be overly prepped. And I think to a certain extent he won't be front and center this time. It's a shared stage, and historically what debates do is they reinforce those who support the side.
You know, it's going to be a very different environment, Joe, than what he had in the primaries, where he had a whole bunch of people on the stage. And a lot of times after those primary debates, we discussed afterwards that he kind of hung back a fair amount. You know, he would come out with the zinger and, you know, sort of land his attack on somebody. But now that it's just one-on-one with he and Hillary, what do you expect the dynamic to be, and what do you expect from him?
I think it's going to be a much different environment for him to debate in. As you pointed out, Martha, it's a much different thing. He can't let four other candidates get into a fight and sort of let him drop back and then come in for the kill like he was able to do over and over again in the Republican debates. He's going to be front and center the entire time. And so there's, like, you know, really... can he sustain that? Can he have enough detail? Which the other thing was, he was able to do the zingers and then sort of pull back and let the others fight over the details. That's not going to happen here. But, you know, the other thing about this is, look, no one goes in telegraphing what they're really going to do. And Ed was there, and Reagan, look, the big question in the second debate was Reagan too old? They didn't telegraph at all that he was going to walk in there and deliver one of the most memorable lines in debate history, which was, I'm not going to go after my opponent for his use his youth and inexperience against him. Even Fritz Mondale laughed, and it was over. I mean, that whole question went out the window because they went in to effectively address it. That's what Trump has to address, some of his negatives in this debate with some humor, I think.
Yeah. How's he going to do that, Ed?
Well, he has a great sense of humor. I think the end of the day, he's an entertainer. He will not be frightened by this stage. Traditionally, candidates walk in, they have never faced anything quite like this unless they've been a president before, and presidents traditionally do very well in the second round of debates. He's used to being the showman. So my sense is what he can't do is overstep it. He has to be very serious. He can't make a big substantive mistake. If he does, then obviously that's a story that gets run over and over again. So my sense is he's got to spend more time prepping than he might talk about, and I think he'll be just fine.
So the word is that he's not doing conventional debate prep, that he doesn't want, you know, Laura Ingraham, who was the person who was mentioned, to play Hillary Clinton and to come at him with jabs. Joe, is that wise? Should he put himself in that forum and see what happens? Because as Ed points out, if there's a substance vacuum. You know, if he gets asked something and is embarrassed that he doesn't know the answer, that's a potential problem for him, clearly.
That's going to be a big problem, and I think it's a mistake. I mean, I think he should get used to somebody like Laura Ingraham coming at him. That might be helpful for him because he may make a mistake in one of the debate preps that he can learn from before learning it in front of the American people in terms of Hillary coming after him. So I think that's a huge error. But you can over-prepare, too. I remember Dick Gephardt, we gave him 6 different ways to attack in that debate, and on his first question, delivered all 6 of those attacks against the front runner. And none of us thought he'd been paying any attention to us in debate prep. So it's a really difficult thing to prepare somebody for one of these things. It's not easy.
High wire act.
And as this race closes up, this debate is going to be, the first debate particularly, is going to be very, very important.
Very important indeed. All right, you guys, great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.